Travis Kelce, the star tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs and the boyfriend of Taylor Swift, declined to talk to the media after his team, the Chiefs, lost to the Houston Texans the other day. And he just didn't speak to the media. He just declined. Usually they interview players 15 to 20 minutes after the game, and the players are there to take the interview. And people are making excuses saying, oh, he just had a bad day. He was feeling bad after the game. He was blowing off some steam. Give him a chance, which is fine. I'm not upset at Kelce. I could give less than a care whether he talks to the media. But here's the thing. Being available to the media is a part of the players' collective bargaining agreement. In other words, the NFL Players Union negotiated this term with the owners. And it's a requirement. It's a rule. But people are just excusing it, saying, oh, well, who cares? The media can be obnoxious anyway. We just don't care. But rewind to about 8 years ago, there was a player named Colin Kaepernick, a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, he was upset over police brutality and racism in this country, so he decided to kneel while the national anthem was played at the beginning of the games or before the games. Now, so many people, they were just upset at him. They were saying, oh, if he doesn't like America, he should just leave. And then other players followed suit, and they were kneeling along with Kaepernick. And led by the President of the United States, you had a bunch of people saying, these people should just find another job. They should do what their bosses tell them to do. But here's the thing. NFL players are not like some of us who carry a mop and broom. They are unioned professionals who have a collective bargaining agreement. Nothing in that agreement, and I'm sure nothing in Kaepernick's individual contract, stated that he had to stand up and be patriotic and be a good, let's not go there, be a good Negro, right? And love the country. God bless America. Nothing in the contract states that players have to do that. But so many people were saying they need to just obey the rules. They were holding Kaepernick and others to rules that didn't even exist. Didn't exist. Nothing requiring them to do that. But people had smoke for Kaepernick and those players saying, just obey. You even had an owner saying the prisoners, I think it was the owner of the Houston Texans at the time, the players should not run, the inmates should not run the asylum. That's what he was saying. And you doing all that over someone who doesn't want to stand up during the national anthem. Oh, see, can you see? So they're supposed to just stand up at attention. Okay. But white Travis Kelce can violate a rule, not talk to the media, and what do people do? Make excuses for him. You see the double standard? One more thing. Kaepernick didn't meet some of you guys' expectation. Not a rule, but an expectation, because he called himself standing up for other people. A selfless act, whether you disagree with it or not. It was a selfless act. Kelce violated an actual rule, not on behalf of other people, not standing up for other people's rights, but because he was just upset because he lost a game. One more thing. Now, white people can march around Charlotte, Virginia with torches talking about Jews will not replace us. Jews will not replace us. They can do all that stuff. They can be radical. They can even try to overthrow the government. But they're called fine people. They're good Americans. They're just trying to make America better. They're just trying to make America great again. Woo, woo, woo. We just love them. They're patriots doing the right thing. But black people, especially black men. We have to walk around saying, I'm thankful that I'm an American. I'm so happy to be in this country. I'm so grateful that these slaveholders took my ancestors, abducted them, brought them across the sea to America, and introduced them to white Jesus. I'm so grateful, because otherwise, where would we be? We're just so happy to be here in the United States. That's the difference. See, patriotism is for us, not for them, because they can do what they want to, they can say what they want to, but we just have to be perfect gentlemen. You see the difference? And you see the double standard.